What's going on, guys? I'm not too sure if there's going to be an episode this week or not. As of right now, the latest episode on YouTube, as I'm recording, is episode 6 with Marley Ball. But I realized as I was going through my YouTube channel that at no point did I really explain to you guys what this channel is all about. I just had Jake Babick on for episode 1. We started talking, and at no point between episode 1 with Jake Babick to episode 6 with Marley Ball did I really communicate to you guys what the goals of this podcast are, or what this goal of this YouTube channel are. There's two main goals for the Eskandy Sports Podcast, or the Eskandy Pod, or whatever I'm going to call it, because it really doesn't have a name yet. But there's two main goals, right? The first goal is I wanted to create a library of conversations with players, hopefully from your neighborhood or from your walk of life, with the main theme being that they're Canadian. And I can't promise in the future that they're all going to be Canadians, but I really have an emphasis on Canadians coming from our area and going pro or doing really cool things with basketball. For instance, I think there's less exposures for the guys and girls that don't go to D1 programs in the States. And I can just imagine, and also I understand from my coaching experience, that a lot of players don't understand what the other side of the coin's like if you don't go D1, because D1 we have glorified as being the premier basketball league, which it is. It's the best basketball there is. But U Sports and D2 and other programs, they're not as heavily reported on, and therefore it doesn't really have our understanding or our respect as to how difficult it really is and what needs to be done to get to those levels. So the first goal of the Eskandy Sports Pod was to emphasize that. The second goal of the Eskandy Sports Podcast was to highlight Canada basketball, point, period. That's it. There is a problem with Canada basketball, and it's not the product as much it is the consumer, which is, people like you and I. I don't think we support Canada basketball the way we should be. What I mean to say is that episode 2 with Dustin McTaggart, he talks about how roughly 50 men will go to NCAA 1 programs. I don't know the stats for girls. I don't even know if the stat for men is right. Let's just say hypothetically 50 guys are going to go play men's Division 1 basketball, right, from Canada, out of Canada, and they're going to go and play in various D1 programs. Of those 50 guys, how many will sign pro deals? This is the part that really tripped me up, because you can probably pencil in 2 or 3 in the draft, and then at least another 2 or 3 will go to various professional programs afterwards, right? If not more. That means the US is just cherry picking who they take from Canada, which makes sense. It's a process to have Canadians play in the States. There's visas, and a lot of programs would just rather support people that grew up near this institution or grew up in America, and that's okay. But my realization is, if the top 50 are in D1, that means 51 to 151 are rather D2, U Sports, or quit. We don't emphasize that enough in our U Sports system. We will all rush to go see Duke and UNC because those are 2 great teams and those are 2 great programs. But Carleton and Ottawa, or Carleton and Ryerson, will be just as competitive. If we know that 51 through 151 could be playing in D1, but for whatever reasons can't, that means we have really, really good talent still here in Canada. The talent is there for the U Sports programs. The talent is there for the U Sports product, but for whatever reason, we're not respecting or indulging in the product, because I don't think we really understand what it took for those guys to get to those positions, and girls to get to those positions, right? It's a lot of hard work. It's a ton of hours, but these are guys and girls that can play in D1, period. I think the problem is with the average consumer, myself included. We don't really understand what it takes to get to that level. And that's another goal of this podcast, is to just understand the Canadian athlete better. And hopefully by understanding the Canadian athlete better, we will then understand and respect the Canadian product more. I feel like we have so much enthusiasm over what we built, over how we're building it. So at a grassroots level, I think obviously everyone knows Orangeville Prep, right? We have amazing prep programs that could probably rival a ton of programs down south. We have the youth sports division, in my mind, can rival a ton of D1 programs in the States. A ton. Just see Carleton beating up on everyone. And then we have leagues like the CEBL and NBL, which I don't think we watch at all. And part of the reason we don't watch it at all is because we don't understand that just because it's not NBA doesn't mean it's not an incredible product. There's players in the CEBL specifically that I think could get pro contracts still. You've got guys like Cass Robertson, who's flirted with the NBA, who's played summer league. You've guys like Caleb Agata, who lead really respectable international leagues such as Israel in scoring, and they put up numbers against NBA quality talent, and they're shot away, if you will. And they play here. They play in Hamilton. They play in Niagara in the summers. We should be watching it. That's great basketball. And if we continue to watch, or if we start to watch Canadian basketball more, it'll make the product even better. Now we can create an environment around Canada basketball that'll be heightening the product as well, right? So, yeah, just the two main goals of this channel are to, one, create a library for the high school, college, university, even elementary school level player, and just have something they can revisit and hopefully find people that have grew up in their area or grew up in their circumstances, or people they kind of heard about but don't know a lot about. Hopefully you can find those stories in the library, visit them whenever, and learn to see how basketball from that set of circumstances took them to their next. The second goal is then just to highlight Canadian talent and hopefully learn from Canadian talent and generate more respect for Canadian talent, with the hopes of creating a bigger Canada basketball program. And hopefully with the second point of view, we just kind of create a better atmosphere around basketball. I think the appetite is there. I think the Raptors have shown that the appetite is there for Canada basketball, but we need to take that momentum with the Raptors and start taking it to our grassroots level and our domestic levels with the CEBL and NBL, and just learn. Yeah, so those are the two goals of the podcast. I hope you guys have been enjoying it this far. I hope more people tag along. If I can get one person to, this is going to sound cliche and corny as hell, but if one person can look at my content and stick with basketball, then the podcast has already done its job and I'm happy. But what I really hope to gain from it, I hope you guys gain from it, is just to learn from their experiences and have conversations or listen to conversations that you might be too nervous to have yourself, right? So I feel like I am a proxy for you guys, especially the younger athletes that need someone to pick from. Hopefully I can provide that here, and hopefully while I have your attention, we as a collective can start supporting these other leagues and our athletes better and just continue to grow Canada basketball. So with that said, that's my spiel. That's what we're doing here. And that's my dog barking. So it's time for me to go. Like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. If not, I'll see you guys on the next episode of the podcast. And this has been such a great journey, and I'm very thankful for everyone that's supporting so far. Wow, I just said that. I'm corny as hell, man. But yeah, thank you guys for indulging, and hopefully we can create momentum and keep building Canada basketball. All right, see you later.